You didn't hit record, did you?
They're rapists.
I have to record this.
You're a child rapist?
Stream too.
Racist child rapist.
You said racist child rapist.
Yes.
It's awful.
The recording hasn't even started when you just named the show.
All right, now we'll do this shit.
This adventure is made possible by generations of searchers strictly adhering to a simple set of rules. Test ideas by experiment and observation. Build on those ideas that pass the test. Reject the ones that fail. Follow the evidence wherever it leads and question everything. Accept these terms, and the cosmos is yours.
I hate all of you people so much. I hate all of you.
I have a penguin fetish.
Choose the Mormon bro. Stupid the brute.
Totally irrational.
It's in peer review, y'all.
Welcome to Atheist Airwaves on Secular FM Radio. That's secular.fm. I'm Jay Guerrero.
Amanda Stevens.
I'm Pete Alfaro.
And I'm Christian Ferris.
Atheist Airwaves is Corpus Christi's only radio show for the atheist and secular-minded. We're sponsored by Corpus Christi Atheists and the South Texas Coalition of Reason. Today is going to be a somewhat noisy day. We're in the we're in my neighborhood, not Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. But
It's a very different neighborhood.
what are we talking about over these children?
So today we're going to be talking about how the government restrictions on Christians is giving them poor access to dead bodies. We'll talk about Jesus juice. Hookers get a Jesus-y get-out-of-jail-free card. The Pope is thinking about getting gay married. And Amanda is going to tell us all about the shocker.
Oh, is she?
Oh dear. I was not informed.
It'll be a surprise.
Isn't it always?
Well, first let's talk about old Tyson there, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
So Cosmos was last
It
weekend.
was pretty awesome.
Very good.
I watched it too many times because I have a problem.
I watched it once because I'm not addicted
Don't
to
have-
weird things.
Don't have an obsessive compulsive disorder like I do. So CCA, some of us after our meetup went over to someone's house and we had a watching party. What did everybody think?
I really liked it.
Thought it was awesome.
I watched it 4
greatly
times, so
enjoyed it.
obviously I liked it.
I think you just like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Well, I have a love-hate relationship with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Is it because he's black?
No, in fact,
The truth comes out.
it's kind of like he's.
We were discussing this before
This
the
is
show.
all pre-show ribbing. Yes, let's not say the whole thing. this show is bad enough without. Never mind. Okay,
Anyway,
so
go ahead.
I have a love-hate relationship with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I really like what he does with science. I think he's very, very inspiring and will definitely encourage people to. Is that outside?
Yeah, that was outside.
So he'll definitely encourage people to look into science, and I love that, but he's also kind of wishy-washy on the whole atheist thing. So he refuses to call himself an atheist, which he can do, but he kind of craps all over the whole movement and takes sides with the people who are like, why can't you just be nice? I don't like that.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Seth MacFarlane, he's writing it or producing it, I don't know.
Producing.
He's also an atheist,
Yes.
from what I understand. So I think it's going to be kind of hard with your top 2 guys in the show who are atheists. It's going to be hard to really have a whole lot of pandering to the Christians or the religious folks.
So and that's one of the things that I was really pleasantly surprised about was that they took early and hard shots at the church.
Yeah.
Those graphics that they used
Uh-huh.
showing the Pope, I mean, it was insane, and it showed him the way we see it,
Yeah.
so scary and just
Rawr.
Like my favorite shot in the whole thing was when they were about to set Bruno on fire and they brought the crucifix up to him, and just the look of utter disgust on his face. I'm just like, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I like that they had the animations just for the purpose that it's going to keep more people interested, and specifically young people. But I don't know. I thought they were a little bit cheesy, just because
Yeah.
it's animations. But,
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's 2014, and they were like 70s animations to me. I don't know.
the way they drew the facial feature
Uh-huh.
stuff. But I guess they were
Yeah.
taking it back to the
Yeah.
time, so
Taking it back.
I liked it.
they
I
had
don't
to
know.
make it that creepy.
The thing that really, really surprised me though is that they never actually showed dinosaurs throughout the whole thing. And kids love dinosaurs, right? I mean, I have kids. Kids love dinosaurs.
Who doesn't love dinosaurs?
It's true, but I mean, I bet they'll get to that at some point. I'm sure there's going to be something in there.
I don't know. I think if you didn't show it, I mean, even in the background, some dinosaurs when Neil deGrasse Tyson was getting blown up. I just love when he sticks his fingers in. Sticks his fingers in the ears and the big explosion. Anyway, I don't know. The other thing that I thought was curious was when he was at the very beginning. They were taking us through the solar system and then out beyond into the galaxy and all that stuff. Their depiction of the asteroid belt was like Star Wars asteroid belt, you know?
Yeah, I remember you bitching while you were like, oh my god, how did they let that happen? She's like, what are you talking about? He goes, the asteroid belt doesn't look like that. You've been there, have you?
Science nerd. But I mean, it struck me because, he tweeted, 13 tweets at the Gravity directors?
Yeah.
And, this is not really like that. I'm like, dude. The asteroid belt, if you stand on one asteroid, you're not going to see another asteroid. I mean, they are so spread out. Same thing with the Oort cloud. That was all janked up. And he even actually talked about that in the thing, which was, each comet in the Oort cloud is, I think they said, as far away from another one as Earth is from the sun or Saturn is from the sun, something like that. These things are really spread out. And so I just think, scientists in glass houses should.
Okay. You said I was screwing with the idioms last week.
It's a metaphor, Jay.
Whatever you want to call it. I'll punch you in the metaphor. So, no, I mean, Tyson, he's really a guy with his head on straight, though.
Oh, yeah.
And he's really, he gets it, so to speak. I mean, he knows what's going on. Hopefully he can help sway some of the powers that be in this country to stop pandering to the religious zealots.
Yeah. So the other thing he did is he went on CNN this week, and I'll just read the quote because I think it's a great quote, but the point is even better. So he said, I think the media has to sort of come out of this ethos that I think was in principle a good one, but doesn't really apply in science. The ethos was whatever story you give, you have to give the opposing view, and then you can be viewed as balanced. You don't talk about the spherical Earth with NASA and then say, let's give equal time to the flat earthers, which is a great point, and it applies to a lot of stuff in the media these days because it drives me crazy in the media where they do these comparisons. Well, politician X got 10 positive mentions and politician Y only got 5, so they're unfair. It's like, well, maybe there's a
politician
difference.
is just a douchebag.
Right. I mean, he's completely on point here. If it's bullshit, then it has no place in the media. If your only reason is just to placate idiocy.
Yeah.
Right. And on the science front, I mean, you're literally talking about pandering to idiots. Mm-hmm. So, if people are just plain crazy, like they believe that science isn't real, whether it's climate change or whether the Earth is round or not, and I swear a woman on The View said that it could be. So this is a problem that is with us today somehow.
It's really scary.
You don't give them an equal amount of time to say nice things.
Yeah, and I mean, he went on to say in the same interview, he said, the good thing about science is that it's true whether or not you believe in it. You can decide whether or not to believe in it, but that doesn't change the reality of an emergent scientific truth. So it's unfortunate that they are making people dumber by just airing this crap, but thankfully, unlike Kevin might think, these laws aren't going to change.
But you can't nice your way out of logic. I mean,
apparently you can try.
People try really hard.
The other thing is that, because we were, the first episode was dealing with the cosmic time frame from Big Bang to now, the life appearing on Earth just happened in a sliver of the show. And if you were in Oklahoma City, you missed most of it because when they got to evolution, the Oklahoma City affiliate did this. Here, let me play it for you.
On the last night of the cosmic year, it's 9:45 on New Year's Eve.
Coming up tonight at 9, the new evidence showing our biggest earthquake could have been man-made.
No kidding. They cut away from evolution in Oklahoma City. It's one of those times where I'm so glad I live in Texas somehow.
Texas
How does
isn't
that
that
even
bad,
happen?
man. Come on.
Texas, it's not Oklahoma.
Now, Oklahoma's been doing some really stupid crap in the last,
Yeah.
at least since we've had this show going. They really are a bunch of asshats there.
Yeah, yeah. And when the people in South Texas, of all places, are not even like Austin, but South Texas are looking at your state and saying, "Yo, what is up with that guy?"
Yo, you guys are pretty dumb. What's going on?
Crazy.
Oh, jeez. The only other thing that I wanted to mention about Cosmos this week was the very end where he was talking about meeting Carl Sagan as a teenager and how he spent the day with him and all the things he taught and how he was inspired by Carl Sagan, not just as a scientist, but as a human being.
He was touched.
He was a lot of atheists were touched. And so, it struck me that that is really the difference between people with emotions and you and I, Jay, because while everyone else was crying, Jay and I were cracking, show us on the scientist doll where Uncle Carl touched you jokes.
Wow.
Yeah, we're special.
Yeah, so that was funny for Jay and I, but I just can't imagine in today's world sending my children off to a university to go spend the day with some random scientist I didn't know, and he offered to have him stay over at his house. And I'm like,
Borderline creepy.
that's
Times
not
have
gonna
changed.
happen. Although not that much, because apparently kids are still playing outside, which is a surprise.
Well, it's approaching dusk now, so hopefully the streetlights will come on and it'll go. Is that still?
Do
Do you
you
even
have
have
street
streetlights?
lights?
I know,
No,
there's
they're
sidewalks here. I don't know where they're gonna put the lights.
It's like
gonna
how
fall
all of
in a
you were just
ditch.
like,
No.
you live in BFE, there are no
Yeah.
streetlights.
That's okay. They'll fall in a ditch and then they'll be very, very quiet.
No, then they'll scream for like ever.
Look on the bright side, Jay.
So,
Scary.
giving Oklahoma a run for their money is Wyoming.
Yeah, the governor is, well,
A jackass.
Yeah.
He's Neil deGrasse Tyson probably should take him aside and give him a good talking to. So the governor of Wyoming is Matt Mead, and he signed a bill into law this week that the state legislature sent him that keeps the next generation science standards out of the state because it treats climate change and evolution science as true.
How dare they?
oh my god, it's so horrible. How could that possibly be true?
Science? What?
No. Not
against-
science
goes
in our
against-
science class. How dare you?
You got science in my science class. You got science class in my science. So last year, a committee of Wyoming educators recommended that the state adopt these standards. They've been adopted in 10 other states so far. A group of scientists came and said that it was a really great idea. So the people who do this stuff and teach this stuff think it's a good idea, but the Jesus people think, oh, not so much. It's like, you guys don't know any things. So maybe you should let the people who know the things be the ones in charge.
No, yeah, the next generation science standards, they're education initiatives. They've already been adopted in 10 states. They were like 26 states, I think, helped to form them. They are the core things of science. I mean, they're what do they say? Geology, engineering, all of the core aspects of science, and it's like setting a standard for these children to make sure that at least they're getting the minimum education in these fields. And this guy's like, no, climate change. That can't be right.
Yeah,
He's
that's all
dismissing-
liberal garbage.
He's
Yeah,
dismissing
they're trying to-
all of this.
And they're trying to turn it into a political thing to where, it's just people that, on that side of the line think like that. So why should you be putting your political views on these children and teaching them something when it's facts? Like, it's
Right.
true. It's
Yeah.
not their
Yeah.
opinions. That,
And if it's ever discovered to not be true, it never will. But if it did, they would change it to what what we
Yeah.
then knew.
They would be
So
like, hey, FYI, guys.
reason will prevail.
it's not like Kevin Ham who says, it says it in the Bible, therefore I believe it, and no amount of evidence will change my mind. Science will change. If you can demonstrate that evolution is a lie, if you can do that, congratulations. We'll change everything in every state all at once. It'll happen overnight.
Without burning people at the stake.
Yeah.
Wow, what a concept.
Although
What-
I'm down to do that. Anybody we need to burn?
Wow.
Jay is now the executioner. We were talking about how Texans looking down on Oklahomans was weird. Kentucky is in the same position with Wyoming. Because they even passed it, but not before the real crazy people came out.
Friggin' Kentucky.
And I love this quote from a Baptist minister who gave testimony at the hearing about it last year. He said, quote, I almost feel like I should have you do it because you do such a good yokel.
I have faith in you. You can do this.
Outsiders are telling public school families that we must follow the rich man's elitist religion of evolution. That we no longer have what the Kentucky Constitution says is the right to worship Almighty God. Instead, this fascist method teaches our children that they are property of the state. What?
You have evolved to become property of the state, apparently. Somehow.
I'm not even touching that one.
And he's not even the craziest person that testified in front of the Kentucky legislature.
Did he have a pitchfork? Sounds like he has a pitchfork.
Probably. In fact, this other person who gave testimony and is even crazier is a woman. So maybe they could do what is the
that painting.
The painting
Yeah.
with
That famous one.
Yeah.
Whistler's mother or no? No, that's the rocking chair. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
something.
about.
Yeah, American
country folk standing around with things
front of
in
a
their
barn.
hands.
American Gothic.
Yeah,
there it is.
That is it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
they could be the American Gothic painting people. Anyway, she said, the way socialism works is it takes anybody that doesn't fit the mold and discards them. We are even talking genocide and murder here, folks.
Sure.
What?
She thinks that science standards and teaching climate change and evolution science is going to lead to executing Christians.
This is a lot like what Neil deGrasse said in that CNN interview, which was, these people that are saying these stupid things are the ones who are just like, oh, new phones and great computers and all this amazing Hey, guess what got you there? Guess what put that in your hands?
Yeah.
It's the science.
Yeah.
We like what the science over here says, but we don't like what the science over there says.
They're just cherry picking, science, whereas they like to cherry pick the Bible too. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just freaking cherry pickers.
My favorite thing about people who cry like socialism or fascism or any ism really is how little they understand
that
the
ism.
ism that they're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isms.
So
I was going to try and lay another couple isms out there, but I'm going to leave those alone.
Wow, this is like an extraordinary moment of maturity that our show is displaying.
My filter is just amazing tonight. I might have got an upgrade or something.
What a bummer of a show this is going to be.
Just turn it off.
Let's open her up.
You don't want that. You don't want.
So
dear.
the organization in Wyoming that was opposing this was COPE Inc., and it's a religious freedom organization. And of course, anytime a religious freedom organization says that, it means the exact opposite of that. And they said that the standards seek to infuse students with a particular political view regarding climate change, sustainability, renewable energy, and other environmental matters.
Bastards.
I'm just like, science is not a political view. Science ought to take, politics ought to take science and then adopt it to be a political view with, a hard, true, factual foundation. But it has nothing to do with your religion. Science has nothing to do with your religion at all. So get out.
Period.
Yeah, I mean, these people they're crazy enough. They're the same ilk. Okay, let's move to this next story because they're the same type of people who do crap like the what do they call them? The dead something?
Dead racing team?
Yeah, dead raising team. There's some evangelical Christians that want access to more corpse because they think that by the power of prayer they can actually bring people back to life. And we're not making that up.
And honestly, they've already claimed that they have brought 11 corpses back to life.
Sure.
They started making a documentary called Dead Raisers. Unfortunately, none of them have been actually recorded coming back to life.
Oh,
so-
weird. So odd.
With all of the Bigfoot footage we have and UFO footage and, all...
Footage. I mean, hell, we've got Bigfoot frozen in Texas.
Yeah, there you go. And they can't get one corpse on television coming back to life?
So, I mean, these guys are like they're like dead raisers. Okay, so do they get like the cool stuff like you get in RPGs? I mean, if they can raise the dead, you can like cast spells and heal
They're
your
like
party
level
while you.
5 Christo mages.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, can they like heal the party while we're fighting like level 85 dragons and?
Yes.
Oh, we need to get them Bible armor. Can we give them some Bible armor?
I think we finally discovered how The Walking Dead starts. There you go.
It's a bunch of
Dead raisers.
yahoos.
If they would
That's
stop
right.
praying over these people.
I know.
Friggin'
Come
cleric.
on.
Just let them go.
What did you call them? What kind of you named them something a second ago?
Christo mages?
Christo mages. I like this.
I would play that role-playing game. Just saying.
I don't want to know what role-playing games you're gonna play, Christian. After the stuff you said.
Aren't we going to the beach together after this?
Oh God.
All right, I'll show you.
I never should have agreed to that.
I could have told you that before this discussion started.
So Tyler Johnson, who is the head of the dead raising team, said that he's unwilling to provide successful case studies of the 11 people that he's brought back to life. Reminds me of that Rick Dyer guy.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, I'll just give it to you when I want to.
Yeah.
Right. He's also a graduate from Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry, which just seems to me
Sure.
like it's like the University of Phoenix version of Hogwarts or something.
Yeah,
You know, like, if you can't go to Hogwarts, just go to the Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry.
You know, I haven't even seen Harry Potter, but that's the first thing that came to mind was Harry Potter.
Sounds like the same lines, like that imaginary, you know.
Yeah, if your school brings to mind instantly Hogwarts,
Their Quidditch team is amazing now.
I feel like I really need to watch this stuff as much as you people talk about it.
Yes, you do.
no, just read the books. The movies are eh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Read?
Nah, okay.
You found his weak spot.
No.
No, he'll find that later at the beach.
So this,
And we're back there.
so they're really pissed off that they aren't being given access to dead bodies so that they can pray over them and bring more people back to life. And it makes me think, why would they need that? Is it like, does Jesus have like a range? Is there, I mean, do you have to get really up close to pray? You can't just sit at home and say, hey, Jesus, there's this dead guy. He's in the morgue. If you could just bring him back to life, that'd be awesome.
It's an area of effect spell.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. I was
Christo,
going to say,
what is the range on a Christo Mage's powers?
it's kind of like Wi-Fi. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I've stolen Wi-Fi from places. They could just like drive up outside and just sit in the parking lot. So it's gotta be more like
Following
Bluetooth.
ambulances.
That'd be really freaky. Just pull up to the what is it, the funeral home like during services.
There you go.
And just
Christo Mage.
That would be the most epic power to have because you just freak everybody out. All
yeah, the
day,
corpse
every
just
day.
stands up, starts walking around and trying to eat people.
Or just like
There you go.
shoot someone in the head, and when the cops try to bring you back, try to arrest you, you just bring them back to life. And just
You're like, nope, it wasn't me.
Yeah, like why don't they just like honestly, why don't they go on a killing spree, like drag the bodies back to their house, just be like, no, I haven't seen that
Don't
guy.
suggest
I mean,
that's a bad suggestion. That might happen.
I would not be surprised, but honestly, I mean,
That's really
if I was like, damn, I need some corpses, I think that would be my first thought.
Well, obviously,
Hello, killing spree.
I like the way you think, but no, I mean, obviously their success rate's fairly low at this point. They're recording it, so it's still a crapshoot. They're perfecting it.
They did pray over somebody who was brought back after a heart attack, but there was also a defibrillator involved. So
right.
Yeah.
I'm like, that reminds me of,
science, praying, I don't know.
you know, like Jesus can cure headaches. All you do is take aspirin and pray, and
Sure.
your headache is gone.
You know, sadly, these jackasses aren't one-off isolated morons. There's at least more that we know of. I'm sure there's many that we don't.
Well, and people believe it. I mean, people are buying their books. This guy sells books on his website, so there's plenty of people who believe this stuff.
It's
There's actually another couple referenced in the story that's in the UK that tried to go pray over her brother to bring him back, but he was dead for 8 hours. So maybe there's a time limit, so he didn't come back.
There's a time limit and a localization.
You gotta be quick.
No wonder
you gotta
it's
get
so
on top
tough.
of
For
that.
heaven's sake.
I've got to say, Jesus has the dumbest rules ever.
Seriously.
there are varying levels of stupid. These guys are pretty high up there. There's other lesser forms of stupid, not quite on the level of the Dead Raiser people, but like a Lun Alan. I don't know how you say this guy's
I know,
name.
right?
Anyway,
I'm gonna say Alan.
Alun. We're gonna go with Alan or Alvin. I'm gonna call him Alvin.
All right.
So he's the pastor of the Pentecostal church in Southampton, and they believe he and I guess his wife or his people or whatever they call themselves can pull Jesus out of their asses and miraculously heal you in any ailment that you have.
Does it specifically have to come out of their asses?
Yes, because it's kind of like aromatherapy, actually. And so that's how it works.
Wow. Wow. But what is their range like?
These guys seem like they're doing like mini exorcisms, I guess. They're like, in the name of Jesus, headache, be gone. And I guess they smack you on the forehead. I don't know.
With their ass? Yeah, I'm not getting past that. I'm sorry.
But this is what I was thinking about when I was reading
Ass punch.
about these.
Twerking for Jesus.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
Oh, God. You're coming up with the most horrible ideas because somebody's going to hear this and do it.
It's Amanda Stevens at.
That's right.
I don't think it's such a bad idea. I would go to like a twerking for Jesus thing. It's so much better than like church.
Yeah.
No?
I'm staying the hell
Okay.
out of.
So this is one of the things I was thinking about when I was reading about these Pentecostal ministers, and really they said that it doesn't matter how crazy their claims are, people buy it more if it's really stupid. It's just crazy. But it made me think about going back to the acupuncture story we talked about like months ago, where they were showing that acupuncture was bogus, that it's pretty much just placebo.
Okay.
If they could show that these Pentecostal ministers were actually affecting people's pain, for example, because a lot of it is, I'll cure your pain, and it was having a placebo effect, would we be okay with it? Because I just remember a couple of people during our show about acupuncture were saying, if it works, I'm going to send grandma to it.
I mean, it depends on the situation. I mean, if it's something where someone's so stupid that the placebo effect is really working on them, despite the fact that they know it's the placebo effect, if it's not harming anybody, I guess, but at the same time, it is kind of, spreading that stupidity around.
The stupidity, and then they're also manipulating the people because they ask for money. They don't.
Well,
just
so do
do
the
it.
acupuncture people, though.
Yeah.
And so I'm not okay with either one, but I'm actually more okay with the Pentecostals because A, it's probably cheaper, but B, they're not taking, they're not saying this is medicine.
You want your pseudoscience on the budget.
No, I would like my pseudoscience to not pretend like it's actual science. If you go to a church, you're not going there because you think that they have PhDs and MDs and they're actually going to help you. You think that they're Christo mages and their area of effect is such that you have to get up on stage and
twerk for Jesus.
And twerk for Jesus. I swear I'm going to think about twerking for Jesus every time I see like the people dancing around.
I'm so glad I could do that for you.
Slayer Goes to Church. Has anyone ever seen that video? That's
No,
awesome.
that sounds amazing.
We'll watch it after the show. It's
No, I have seen that. I do know what you're talking about. It is awesome. It is really cool. No, there are people who do think that it takes science and Jesus to heal you.
Amanda.
Yes. I had this whole intro worked out for the story, so I'm going to do that now.
Okay.
Oklahoma, where the Jesus juice goes into your veins. Yeah. Sorry.
And now we're a musical.
Sorry, I had to do that. So there is this quote-unquote doctor in Oklahoma, Dr. Mike, who, I mean, that sounds super trustworthy, guys. Dr. Mike. He has been giving people...
Is that like Uncle Mike?
Yes, it's very much like Uncle Mike. It's like there's no trustworthier name than Mike, apparently. Anyway, so he's been giving people the Jesus shot. He will not say what is in it. He just says that it cures all pain for life.
Which seems like that could just alone cause you problems.
Yeah,
pain actually is evolution.
Yeah.
Pain is a good message to receive.
Yeah.
If you're doing something, if your hand is on a stove, you would probably want to know that.
Seriously.
I thought you were talking about the masochistic things you do with penguins.
Oh yeah, well, I'll show you on the beach later.
You have to work with the seagull guy.
Yeah, so the really creepy thing about this story to me is that he was licensed to practice medicine in Oklahoma on a provisional supervised basis because his license to practice medicine was revoked in Ohio, basically because he was a freaking criminal. And then Oklahoma
some of it
was like, no,
was
come
medical
on down.
fraud.
Yeah, it was fraud. It was tax
evasion.
evasion, mail fraud, healthcare fraud. And Oklahoma was like, come on in.
They're just letting all the crazies
Hey.
in.
They put him on a year, I think, of supervised practice so that people had to check in on him from time to time.
Yeah,
But
and
now he's out. He's off it.
Yeah, and he's been charging $200 for this miracle shot, and
actually,
$200 to $300.
Yeah,
Right.
so 300.
Yeah.
Because they've been the local military bases have been allowing him to come on base, and they assemble all the guys together and oil field people too, and say, here's Dr. Mike to tell you about Jesus juice.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Now, he was claiming that he was a special forces doctor at some point,
Yes.
and that the military had developed this Jesus juice.
Sure.
Yeah, to heal all wounds and cure all your ailments.
Yeah.
And he magically got the serum.
Yeah,
or
they
whatever
totally
it was.
just let him walk off the base
Yeah,
or
with
whatever.
unlimited amounts of it.
With magical cure-all injectables.
He makes it, Jay.
I want to know what
Duh.
the fuck it is.
It's saline.
I'm guessing it is just straight saline, but I want
Yeah.
to. What if it's not? What if it's
What
like,
if it's like OxyContin?
LSD? That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
I'm so happy on the way out.
I think there would be more stories if it was LSD. But the weird thing here is that the Oklahoma Medical Board terminated its supervisory agreement
Right.
in March of last year. But they said you can keep practicing medicine for another year. What?
That's cool.
We're not gonna look in on you anymore because we think you're kind of crazy, but you just keep on practicing medicine. It'll be
there.
fine. It'll be good. This could not go wrong. It's Oklahoma.
Is this where Mike's Hard Lemonade comes from? Is it the same Mike? Is that why it screws me up so much?
Uncle Dr. Mike and his lemonade. Yes.
Here's the really great thing about this story is that I was trying to find out more information about this guy because like you said, he claimed he was special forces, so I wanted to see if he really was. It seems like he was. I saw pictures of him in his uniform. But the best
That
thing
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you can get a uniform.
okay. But the best thing I came up with is that he has an entry in datingpsychos.com where people rate crazy people that they've dated. And some woman wrote up this guy a few years ago, which is awesome.
Wait a second. Let's go back to this datingpsychos.com thing.
You might want to look yourself up on there.
I need to add some interest in that son of a bitch.
Jay has 7 pages dedicated. That's terrible.
So Corpus Christi Atheist meets every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. If you want to come meet this psycho, we'll be in Executive Surf Club. Visit ccatheist.com for a complete listing of our events, or visit southtexascor.com to connect with our sister organizations from Corpus to Brownsville. Tune into secular.fm for other godless programming.
So this next story has been getting a lot of people upset. We're used to the religious people being all bent out of shape about stuff we do, but this one actually has some atheists pissed off at the American Humanist Association and people like me who support it. We got a few people who were upset on the South Texas Coalition of Reason Facebook page and the CCA Facebook page. So here's the deal. In May of 2012, Anthony Devaney was walking along a road in Lake Elsinore, California, and he was struck and killed by a car, which is very awful. I think he was 19 years old. His mother, Anne Marie Devaney, erected a 5-foot cross, which is really big for these kinds of roadside memorials. But a 5-foot cross on the side of the road on public land. And finally, this year, after several years, the American Humanist Association got the local government to remove it. The religious and some of the non-religious are totally pissed that the American Humanist Association went after the mother of a dead teenager. So how do we feel about this in this room?
I'm fine with it coming down. If it's on public land, then it shouldn't be there. And she could probably do something way better than just putting up a 5-foot cross to remember her son.
I'm actually torn on this one. I'm a pretty horrible individual in most instances, but
Indeed.
but I can understand the grieving mother, the grieving process, and I see these things all over the place.
They're everywhere.
Never once have I passed one and been like, "Oh, that's bullshit." You know, I understand. That's someone, trying to mark the death space or whatever. You know, it's weird. Do I agree with it? Not really. Would I do it? No, but I kind of get it. If it's not impeding on anything, what's the difference between this one and the millions across the country?
They should also come down. So let me,
No, yeah, go.
what is it impeding, things like that. It's also not safe. So a couple of years ago in Driscoll, Texas, which is just south of here, there was, may still be, it may just be bigger now. Oh, I'm such a terrible human being. But there was a roadside marker where a young person had been killed on the highway, and the family was maintaining a roadside memorial there, and they were rear-ended, and all of them were killed while they were on the side of the road cleaning it up.
Okay, hold on. They were maintaining
the marker for their dead family member,
Uh-huh.
and all of them were killed when someone rear-ended them on the side of the road.
Okay, why? I need more information on that, because if they're maintaining on the side of the road, then someone had to come off the road.
No.
to kill
They
them.
were in front of their car, and a car hit their car, and their car hit them.
If
Okay,
they're that close to the highway and a car is
Well,
going to hit you, I
you're
mean,
an
that's
idiot.
already, but that's already dangerous. Like,
People pull off the side of the road all the time. That doesn't
Yeah.
make it any more dangerous just
But
because
there's,
that's what they were doing.
you're also not allowed to do that because it's not safe. I
To
mean,
pull off the side of the road?
yes.
if it's not an emergency,
You can't
why
park
are you
on-
holding
Park.
You can't park on the highway.
just cause.
I
It's
do
a
it like once a
highway.
week with a hooker. I mean,
And that's
Oh my goodness.
twice illegal. I just think, so, I mean, we throw in there that it's illegal to erect roadside monuments, period, in California. So, I mean, the
Okay.
thing was just completely illegal, not just from a constitutional standpoint, but also from a legal standpoint. But I mean, even just taking that out.
well, no,
I still
when
think-
you throw that in, I'm on board with get it the hell down.
Yeah. But, even getting rid of that, I think that, I'm sympathetic to the family. I can imagine that there would be things that would mean a lot to me as a grieving parent. And I can't imagine doing that. But if I did do that, I can imagine what it would feel like to have people come along and say, you have to take this tribute to your child down. I can imagine why that would suck.
So in California, are roadside monuments illegal in general, or just
Yes.
religious types?
No, all
Like,
of them.
I can't just stick an aluminum pole in the ground?
Nope, no Festivus memorial.
Interesting.
Not that it stops people, but the only reason this one, I mean, these people do it in California still, and usually nothing happens. But a resident, after it was up there for a year, complained and said, this is unconstitutional and should not be, especially because it's 5 feet tall.
That's a big one. Yeah, I
That's
don't
big.
usually see. I
Yeah.
mean, that's like monuments. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get you.
I can see driving late at night and being like, "Oh shit, there's a person on the side of the road." Oh no, it's a big giant cross. Never mind. But being really
point.
freaked out there for a minute.
So she moved it to her backyard, and so she has a nice shrine in her backyard. That's fantastic, and she gets to see it
Sure.
every day. So
I'm good with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think that and I'm just this way. I'm not all that sentimental about things like this. I'm just like it's unconstitutional, so just don't do that. I like I said, I sympathize with the mother, but I don't think that should make us. If you don't like the law, change the law. If you don't like the Constitution, change the Constitution. I'll fight you tooth and nail to do it, but that's what you should do. You shouldn't just run around making exceptions and saying, this is okay because dead child and Jesus.
Dead child and Jesus.
That's right. That's the
I
hangout.
feel like there's a joke there.
Rule 34. Go.
Oh, you suck. I'll be
Oh
back.
my goodness. Okay. All right. Moving right along from California to Louisiana.
Oh my goodness.
The state of Louisiana has made a certain edition of the Holy Bible the official state book.
Well, it hasn't passed yet, so it's,
Oh, it would. Okay.
yes, it would make that and provide for them to put the Bible on state logos and seals, and they can just put the Bible wherever they want.
Sure. I like the other official state symbols, though. There's like an official state drink. There is Uncle Earl's hot dog trials.
I
Which,
saw that. I was
like,
like,
what?
the
What?
Yeah,
What is
that's
that?
an official Louisiana thing of hot dogness.
Sounds
I
secular.
don't-
It
yeah.
sounds secular, so I mean,
It Oh, the official state Uncle Earl's hot dog trial. Oh, hog dog trials. Sorry, I was reading it as hot dog
Hog
trials.
dog trials. Okay.
Hog dog
What's a hog
trials
dog?
will
That's-
be held annually in the parish of Wynne, city of Winfield, Louisiana.
Okay. Hog dogging
Good times,
is...
yeah.
Oh, wait. We can't say that on the air.
What, hog dogging?
It goes deep.
They're dogs trained to track and take down wild pigs.
Okay.
Sure. All right.
That needs to be official.
So I think the hog dogging is even more fun than the whole Bible as the state book thing.
Are there any other states with official state books?
We should.
I'm sure.
We should
I
totally
looked
start
it up.
this for
I
Texas.
looked it up and I
Just be
could
like,
not find any.
Dr.
Hey,
Seuss.
we need the Da Vinci Code as the Texas state book. I think no,
gonna say the Da
Shades
Vinci.
of Grey. Let's just go. Let's just go all in. Jay's out. Jay's out for Shades of Grey.
Wow.
So
I had my headphones off. I hope that mic drop was effective.
And
more of a mic
to
slap.
work. You need to work on it.
the official state drink is milk. Which I mean, for New Orleans, I mean, come on, it's Louisiana. You don't think milk?
That's a slap in the face to the lactose intolerant that live in the
Let's
state.
take
That's
it
right.
down.
That's right.
I don't approve. The other thing that the bill does is it recognizes the state motto. And I'm glad that they recognize their own state motto, but that you're so proud of that accomplishment that you have to write a bill about it.
What is the state motto of Louisiana?
A state under God, united in purpose and 10 ideals. What
Is
those
that
are.
really the current one?
Ideals?
Confident that justice shall prevail for all of those abiding here. I wonder what their 10 ideals are. It sounds like Buddhism or something.
I doubt that.
The Louisiana 10 ideals are going to be really, really amazing. I have no doubt of that. I'm looking it up as soon as we're done here.
Thou
Louisiana.
must eat crocodile. Excuse me, alligator. I don't know. I'm
Get
just
it
taking
right.
guesses.
Yeah.
Thou shalt hog dog.
Thou shalt Mardi Gras.
Speaking of hog dogging, so prostitutes, right?
That was the
know,
best
right?
segue I think I've ever heard. Kudos.
So the Phoenix Police Department has been talked into some shady, screwed up, and really unconstitutional sex worker sting tactic by the Arizona State University. They're calling it Project Rose. And basically what they do is instead of hauling these alleged sex workers, like you see on Cops where they make the sting and they are in a hotel room or some crazy crap, instead of taking them to jail, they take them to an alternative church. They take them to Jesus. They give them the option of...
I have to say, if I got arrested and someone said jail or church, that would be a hard decision. I mean, it wouldn't really...
I'm going to jail. No, but they give them this alternative, and it sounds like like it's like almost rehabilitative or something like that, but it's really, really screwed up. And the reason it is because they aren't officially arresting these people. They're putting them, and they're taking them into custody and handcuffing them, and they're taking them to the Bethany Bible Church. They're handcuffed, but
Nope.
they're not officially arrested. They don't.
That's kidnapping.
It is kidnapping, but
Yeah.
they take them to the church. They're not allowed to speak to a lawyer. They're sat down with this, I don't know if it's a committee or what it is.
The prosecutors are there, and
Right.
and some people from this Project Rose, which is a religious ministry.
It is, and they're sat down and they're given the option of a religious diversion program instead of prosecution. And this thing is state-run. It's operated through the state university, Arkansas State University, and the police department. They pay the church $1,500 a week in order to run this.
I think it's $3,000 a month actually, because they do two raids, and it's $1,500 a day that they give the church in order to let them use that room to bring them in. And I'm just thinking, you could just ask the prostitutes. I'll bet you they know a good hourly rate motel where you could go and get it dirt cheap, like $80 tops.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
a great idea.
Just talk to the hookers you're picking up. They'll help
Yeah.
you out. Arizona.
Yeah, like I'm totally for, like rehabilitating these women, giving them another option, but that's not another option. That's
No,
like,
it's
hey,
not.
come to Jesus or we arrest you.
they're funneling taxpayer money into a religious program. In the
Yeah.
story, that's exactly what's happening here. But I want to touch on what you just said. I've known sex workers. I've had friends who are sex workers, and not all sex workers dislike their line of work.
No.
Yeah.
Some of them, and I made this joke the other day, but it's true. Some of them find it fulfilling. They really do.
And we're back to holiday.
You know, that's the calling for some people. That's what they enjoy doing, and they enjoy making people happy and making money doing it. So I mean, they're taking these people and they're giving them prosecution or Jesus. I mean, it's a punishment. No, I don't know. The whole thing is just.
Well, that's because sex is dirty.
Is it?
Sex is terrible and it's a sin, and yeah.
Especially in
Sexy.
Arizona.
I'm just like, well, all right.
You didn't see that on the radio, sorry.
Strangely, you did not see that on the radio.
So has anyone visited, solicited a sex worker, Jay?
Have I? I just told you like once a week. Strangely enough, her name's Rose.
No, but so there was one woman who went through this program who was distressed because they were telling, one of the PhDs they have working for it were saying, once you've sold your body and you've done this, then you're always a horrible person forever. And she said, quote, "I wasn't ashamed about being a sex worker. I kept bringing this up during the diversion program. Girls would ask me why I didn't feel this way. Well, because I don't. I have the right to my own body."
Yes.
Absolutely.
So the other thing that I wanted to note before I ask a question of everybody is that their success rate is 35%.
In Jesus versus jail?
Yes. So the people going to Jesus, the recidivism rate is 65%.
Oh, I thought you meant that was the percentage that took Jesus
Oh,
over
no.
jail.
So it's kind of like that Sheriff Joe Arapo, whatever his name is, in Arizona.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't work.
Like, he's terrible to people, and they're still like, whatever, I got nothing else to do.
So they go to classes? Is it something they have to maintain? What is
I
it?
don't know.
Like,
I
is it a
didn't-
one-time thing? You just sit there for 8 hours and listen
I
to
wish
them?
I wish I knew. I didn't. If they said it, I glossed over it. I was just really.
What is their penance, I guess, for getting picked up?
Yeah.
Maybe they have to go
That's
spend
just-
time with the pastor. I don't know. Maybe they have to provide services for him. Wait, no, he prefers little boys. Never mind.
I'm kind of, I'm
Do you
kind
have
of,
kids?
I'm kind of torn about prostitution laws, making it illegal.
Yeah, me
On
too.
the one hand, I agree with this woman who says that, it's my body, if I choose to do this. At the same time, I think it's, I'm concerned about people in really bad situations who aren't okay with doing this. It causes psychological damage or emotional distress.
And it absolutely can.
Sure.
If that's.
Yeah.
Or they're being, what is the word? They're being
Abused, forced into it.
taken advantage of.
Okay.
You know?
No.
Like if they have a
it's,
pimp.
it's a legitimate concern, but I think it's
Who
the
can
same.
get you out of jail faster than Jesus? I'll tell you that right now.
No, it's similar to me in the argument with legalization of like marijuana, whereas it's this bad thing, but so many friggin' people do it anyway. If you legitimize it and you bring it into a realm
You can
of
regulate it.
right, of regulation, then you're going to see a lot less of the negative things happening than you do when it's illegal and illicit.
Yeah. I'm going to bring out some history dork, because I'm a history
do.
dork. So Napoleon,
Wow.
his
Was a
army...
prostitute?
No.
Oh.
His army was super successful, right? For a span of many years. Well, Napoleon had legalized prostitution in France, and the women were all very well regulated. They had monthly checkups so that his men would not catch venereal diseases and then spread it across Europe and diminish their fighting strength. So,
That's pretty smart.
I mean, it is. It kept the men happy, but they were not at risk of not being...
Kept them happy and healthy.
Exactly. So it's like...
Islam does this today. I don't know if anyone's aware of this.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Fill
So
me in.
they frown upon sex in a major way. Obviously, I mean, they kill you if you get raped, you can be jailed.
Right.
But one of the rules that they have is for war. And it is perfectly acceptable to take women and ship them off to the front to where, men are fighting and they are just, basically sex slaves. And, obviously it's not that great a deal because they're not sex workers, they are human trafficking victims.
Right.
They are forced into it. But I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff goes on.
My uncle is from Tunisia, and he had posted a story not long ago where women from Tunisia were going to Egypt and all of these different countries, apparently of their own free will, to make themselves useful to the like martyrs of the faith. It was just like, wow, really? Just all of these women are like, you know what sounds great? I'm gonna take a little trip, I'm gonna get my body used, and it'll all be for the greater good.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Dedicated.
I didn't realize it, and this is a total. I mean, it's not a non sequitur. It's related, but not anywhere near the topics on our show sheet. I didn't realize that we're in a really, really high incident area for human trafficking and sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Because we're so close to the border. I did not realize it was such a prevalent problem down here.
Oh yeah.
It's scary shit.
You just every week you don't realize what you're doing or what?
No, she's not trafficked. She's very high class, Christian.
On the side of the highway. All the high class.
I get to pick the location. I'm just a cheap bastard.
He just likes to live on the edge.
I had to save some money on the hotel so I could get a better one.
Oh dear.
Yeah, we're leaving that
So
alone now.
while prostitution is banned in most places,
Some movies
are getting banned.
So, in cinematic news, Noah's coming out, and in Qatar, Bahrain, and the United Arab Emirates, it's banned. But
In where again?
Qatar, Bahrain, and
Bahrain. Okay. I was like, Bahrain, where the fuck is that? Okay.
It's
No, it
between
took me a
Barack
second. It took me a
Obama
second.
and Iran.
So, and Egypt is considering it. The why they're banning it is what was really interesting to me, because I knew that they got really uptight, like they would stab you to death if you had pictures of Muhammad. And, we have our annual Draw Muhammad Day to kind of
Poke
at that. But they think that of all prophets, allegedly.
Yes.
So Noah being a prophet of God, they object to him being depicted. And apparently, like your sidekicks also cannot be depicted, which I also didn't know that. So it's not that you just can't show Shaggy or Scooby, but all of the kids can't be depicted.
That's a weird reference.
Right.
But I get it. He did that just for me.
Right
He
there.
dumbed it down just for
There
me.
you
I know
go.
he did.
He's like, exactly how dumb do I have to make this in order for Jay to understand? Scooby-Doo, I think is sufficient.
So they're gonna stab people for over Emma Watson is basically what I get out of that, which is just ridiculous.
I think there are a lot of people stabbing a lot of things over Emma Watson. Oh, you're welcome.
True story.
You win. That's the best.
But they get so stabby over images of Muhammad.
I can't. You can't say that anymore after that
now
comment.
Jay is broken.
They kill people over images of Muhammad, but they consider Jesus a prophet. And there are so many goddamn pictures of Jesus. I trip over them going to get the paper in the morning. So why aren't they killing people over that stuff?
They're cherry picking. They're religious assholes. They cherry pick. That's what they do, Christian.
I guess. I don't know. It's awesome though, because not only are atheists not going to this movie, not only are Muslims not allowed to go to this movie.
We thought their reason was bad.
Right. Good old Kev.
God.
Kevin Ham also says Christians should not go to see Noah. And in an interview this week, he said, sure, after watching the film, people could be directed to read the story for themselves in the Bible. But in this day and age, young people have a hard time deciphering reality from fiction.
Irony.
Oh. And then you went on to
Unlike
say,
Ken Ham.
and then they don't often take the time to form their own educated opinions. Coming from Kev.
Right.
Pot, kettle.
he's afraid that young people are going to have a hard time telling the difference between fiction in the movie and the totally real, you guys, actual truth in the Bible. It's like, Kevin, people not being able to tell the difference between truth and fiction
Why we hate you.
It's how you make your living. I mean, that's how you do it.
Oh my goodness.
They're stealing his thunder. That's his shtick. He's trying to keep him off of it.
Off his shtick.
We have devolved to that level of the show already. And what's our time here? We had an hour yet?
Yeah.
Okay, it's right about on time then. Never mind. So thank you for listening to Atheist Airwaves on Secular FM Radio. Corpus Christi Atheists is a humanist organization. Humanist beliefs stress the potential value and goodness of human beings, emphasize common human needs, and seek rational ways of solving human problems. We stand for the equal treatment of all people, and this includes combating social injustices such as misogyny, racism, homo and homophobia, and other such bigotry like Kevin Ham's shtick.
Or defiling yourself over Emma Watson. Or no,
stand
we're okay
against
with
that?
No, I'm for that.
He was for that twice yesterday.
So,
And speaking of sex,
is it time for the shocker?
Now Amanda's going to tell us about the shocker.
hooray! Surprise! The religious right is insisting that this study is wrong because it doesn't totally back them up, you guys.
That alone is shocking.
Yes. Surprise.
Science isn't backing them up?
Yeah,
What?
weird, wacky, wild stuff. So there was a study reported on by USA Today that they provided free birth control to women and girls, and, just kind of saw what happened. And basically, they did not
So
become...
wait, there's video of this? And they were watching it happen?
Yes, totally. Basically, these women and girls who were given free birth control did not then just become giant sluts. Surprise. Yeah, and so the religious right is just like, nope, that totally no, because sex has consequences. Contraception gives women a false sense of safety, they say. Women think they are completely protected, and they are not. Which basically is just them kind of going, don't be a slutty slut. just don't have sex. Which is also similar to a lot of their reactions to abortion studies. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, if it's safe and legal, then it becomes rarer. And they're like, no. Well, that's not true.
That's not how it works, guys.
Yeah. And then, the study, it may actually be the same study, I'm not sure, because it sounds similar. It was in the St. Louis area. They gave a bunch of women and girls birth control for free. And it also showed that it cut the abortion rate by, 65% or something absurd.
That's
Who'd
crazy.
have thunk?
I know.
To be honest with you, I would not have thought it would be that high. I would not have
It was
thought that.
amazing.
Why? Because of its efficacy or because of what?
Well, just because people don't use birth control correctly. And,
Efficacy?
But the great thing about this
birth
study...
control can be effective, if you're not using it correctly.
Yeah.
That causes things. But, the other thing is that in this study, they were talking about how STDs were about the same, which surprised me. But I guess it just tells you that women take birth control seriously. Mm-hmm. And the availability is really the...
Well, women in South Texas don't. But
yeah.
And Jay knows.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I don't.
If
Those
it
were his
isn't-
kids playing outside
Oh
earlier.
no.
Oh my gosh.
All of them.
If it was in fact the same study that I
think it
believe
was.
it was. It
I don't
wasn't.
think it was.
Okay. Because they gave them the choice of which birth control they wanted to
interesting.
have. And the IUDs are more effective. They're longer lasting, but they're more expensive, which is why a lot of women don't have access to IUDs. Whereas the birth control pill, you have to take it kind of the same time every day. And you just, like, if you forget, then you're like, oh no! And then it may not be as effective.
4 of them in one day.
There you go. Just like those
catch up.
Those kids playing outside, I just eating them like candy. Just eating them like candy.
I thought it was interesting. When I was reading this, I tend to read out loud when I read. Someone was in.
And now Christians broke it.
I nearly sprayed.
You almost killed the show.
I nearly sprayed beer all over the control board.
F you, Christian. Anyway, I was reading this and I'm murmuring to myself, and the person that I was sitting with was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a really cool study." And I explained it, and she was like, "Well, I actually get free birth control, but I didn't always." I said, "Well, did it change the way that you acted?" She's like, "Oh, no, I was always doing stupid shit anyway, and I kept doing stupid shit."
It was cheaper.
See, I'm the exact opposite. Like, I took birth control for certain reasons. Like, I had amenorrhea, and
What is amenorrhea?
Amenorrhea is when you skip periods because, like, you don't have enough body fat. Your body just, like, can't process having a period, or you'll faint and stuff. So I had amenorrhea, and I had really bad cramps, like couldn't go to school or work kind of cramps, and so I would take birth control pills. But after a few years on the pill, like, they had mellowed to a point. Like, I was regular and everything was going strong. So this is more information than anyone needs,
that's
but
the
you're
phrase
welcome.
you wanted to use there.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm not having sex. Everything seems to be going all right. I'm just gonna stop because this is $50 a month that I could spend on other things.
Right.
And yeah, now that the contraception is free, heck yeah, I'm back on it because it's super easy now.
Right.
I no longer have to be, like, just angry at everyone for a couple days.
Remind us not to schedule her.
Yes.
She's angry at everyone. Sorry.
No. Oh, thanks, Obama. He fixed the problem.
Exactly. My favorite, though, I have to say this. I got in an argument one time with a friend's friend on Facebook because this person was like, "But birth control kills. You know, it kills women." I was like, look, there is a risk of blood clots on birth control. This is a proven scientific fact. However, like, the risk of blood clots from, say, pregnancy is 3 times higher. So maybe shut up. And she was like, no, it also causes diabetes and heart disease and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're a crazy person. None of the associations affiliated with those ailments back you up. So tell me, where'd you got this? And she's like, well,
My friend's grandma.
Pretty much. It was like a anti-choice pamphlet.
Focus on the family or some family values.
One of those
thing,
things. And I was like, well, you know, like, my sister takes them for endometriosis and cysts, and then I take them for amenorrhea. They're nothing to do with sex at all. And she was like, well, that just gives you a false period. And at that point, I had to walk out of the conversation because I was like, is it like the sharks and the jets in the tiny pill? Like, they just go in with little switchblades? I could not get past that. But it has cracked me up for like 5 years.
I would watch that movie. I think there was a YouTube video.
There you go.
Sharks and Jets.
In the uterus.
The great sex ed tool. Oh, it's so good.
We should make this video happen.
No doubt.
Let's start a YouFund.
Y'all are weird.
Okay, Scooby.
Let's talk about some more idiots, shall we?
The idiot.
Pat Robertson.
King idiot.
Mike.
Pat Robertson thinks that if you're watching porn, demons might fuck up your car.
And how do I even own a car at this point? I should just have like a junkyard in my front yard.
So on his show, he had a caller call in, and she had recently watched a scary movie or something. And that Sunday, when she got out of church, she was in a car accident. And so she called in because she needed his advice to see if perhaps a demon had come into her or Jesus' protection had been taken away from her because of demons.
So Jesus
So many
took his
euphemisms.
condoms away?
Jesus hates scary movies, you guys.
Apparently, you never know what's going to happen.
That's not. Never mind.
Yeah, to where it's like you think he's crazy, and then his callers are even crazier.
Yeah.
That he was like, well, I don't think that's what happened, but it could totally have happened. It's like, what?
Maybe you're right. I had not given this enough thought in the past. But I think that scary movies, yes, Jesus hates those.
And so she mentioned a scary movie that she watched, but then he, started telling a story about, well, this other lady that I know, she was watching a Double X movie, and he went straight for the Double X movie and kind of tried to compare the same thing to where it's just like, whoa.
A double X movie? Is that like softcore porn?
No.
I don't think that's softcore. I think that's now penguins.
I don't think
I've never heard of double X.
They don't do like the double X,
X?
triple X stuff anymore, I don't think.
Oh,
It's
The
so
only
was
double
just-
X I know is what I drink.
He was just remembering from his good old days then, I suppose. Double X.
he's holding up a Dos Equis can, by the way.
So
Yeah,
you have to be careful with what you watch
So scary movies and porn
Yeah.
equal demons equal car
because
accidents.
they're everywhere. They could get you.
And this is the guy who called Ken Ham stupid.
Yeah. Let's just put this in context.
I think there
real
should be
quick.
a stupid cage match at this point. Just like, who has the crazier idea?
I don't know. Pat Robertson's
Porn
pretty
demons, go!
Old. Porn demons.
We need level 30 Christo mages to take care of the porn demons. Holy cow.
There's just this weird RPG shaping up out of this show. At like / wrestling match. I don't know.
Get your 12-sided die, folks. We are going.
Is this a tabletop game?
Oh, we're going.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down to game.
Christo
I'm
mages.
GTG.
Oh my gods and lobsters.
Oh, you're gods and lobsters.
Yes, that's what I say. Sorry.
I like it. This is good. Okay, so I was hoping would have another week without the Pope.
Nope.
Nope.
No such luck. But this is really kind of an interesting story.
Are we gonna intro the Pope?
Yeah, and then we're just going to edit all this out.
We're gonna edit that out.
Tune in Tokyo. Yes. So the Pope.
This adventure is made.
Whoa!
The Pope,
Get the hell out of
the
my Pope
Pope is
story,
in our
Neil
adventure
deGrasse
too.
Racist!
The Pope is looking into gay marriage, everybody. He's been exploring the options, and now that
He wants to gay marry everybody
No, just himself. He's been
with everyone. He
Yeah.
wants to gay
He
marry
found that
everyone.
special cardinal and
He's,
is
Oh,
ready to settle down.
Run away.
he's gonna tie the
White picket
knot.
fence.
They're gonna wear crazy hats together.
Children behave.
Okay, no, he's not doing that. Tiffany comes back from the pre-show. So Pope Frank has asked the church to look into why all these states are deciding to make marriage equality a thing, and he even said that he's open to unions between people of, and I love this quote, quote, diverse situations of cohabitation. What guy? So, but no, I think this is.
Jay's
So-
broken again.
I mean, this is the first time I've actually heard him talk about changing what the church is doing or believing. To me, this is the first Pope story since Pope Frank came about a year ago, I guess. Well, I guess he's probably, never mind.
I was gonna say, are we gonna touch that one? Are we? Please, can we?
Lord knows he did. So,
He got a pre-screening of Noah.
Oh.
he totally did that.
And this is now why he's considering gay marriage.
He's, Emma Watson and the Pope's got a thing. Anyway, it is the first time he said that he's open to changing church doctrine. All the nice things the Pope has said over the last year that, really rang false to me, and they had the people coming up behind him saying, not really.
Yeah.
This is the one time that he's actually said something like, well, we're going to look into it and maybe we'll be okay with unions.
Maybe they'll change the dogma.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good thing. If he actually enacted that, I think we should saint him.
Oh.
Atheist Saint Frank.
A.D. Cantu in the chat room says he's going to marry Pope Benedict. Wouldn't that be a great porn? I mean, I don't watch gay porn, but if I was going to, that would
Sure you don't.
Pope on Pope. Oh, You would have to watch that gay porn, right?
Pope docking.
Even.
Wow.
Oh my God! Yes, I would watch that. Pope talking. There's just no way to name this episode. There's just no way.
Oh wow.
Goodness.
No, yeah, it's a good thing that he's actually bringing potential change into it. Even my neighbor's dog is excited. I don't know if you can hear that in the chat
There's
room.
werewolves or something outside. And they're super excited for Pope talking.
So
The other thing I did want to mention, because I'm very hesitant in my praising of the Pope right now, because he hasn't done anything, he's just agreed to think about it, which is very low activity stuff. So I'm glad he's thinking about it. But what usually happens when he says something cool is exactly what happened. A cardinal came in behind him. And
And we're
Exactly
back
what
to Pope
happened.
porn. Yep.
surprisingly, I'm not all that into like Pope on Cardinal, but I guess because there haven't been two popes alive at the same time, I'm just really excited about the possibilities of that.
Anything can happen.
So we're there.
Rule 34, Christian. Rule 34. This is happening now. Someone somewhere is going to do this.
We can show that video in high school right after the Sharks and Jets
Uterus. Yes.
uterus episode. Anyway, so Cardinal Dolan of New York came in. Said,
Followed up.
on that statement.
Yes.
He said, quote, "The Pope didn't come right out and say he was for gay marriage, and that once again, in an extraordinarily sincere, open, nuanced way, the Pope said," and now he's quoting the Pope, "I know that some people and some states have chosen this. We need to think about that and look into it and see the reasons that have driven them. Rather than quickly condemn them, let's just ask the questions as to why that is appealing to certain people." So, he's kind of tempering what the Pope said. But I will say that if the Pope actually does that, even if it's civil unions, which are bullshit, but even if he just says, not so much marriage, but civil unions are cool now with the
It's a
church,
step in the right direction.
I promise I will say something wildly praising the Pope, because that will actually be a real thing and not just more PR crap that he spends.
I agree.
So.
Marriage equality is a big thing everywhere.
You know what else is a big thing?
That's what she said?
You couldn't see the look of disgust that came out of my face.
It came out of your face.
I said, yeah.
All
Arthur
right.
Cantu says popespin.com.
Oh.
Just throwing that out
Yeah,
there.
but I threw a look at him, so it came out of my facial region. Anyway, marriage equality is really, it's a major thing. Of course, where there's some stupid people agreeing with each other, they're gonna just have the assumption that everyone just about must be in their corner. Because, that's how it is.
I'm never wrong.
So, a survey conducted by the Public Religion Research Institute, which I feel like we've covered something from them before, but I don't remember hearing that name. Anyway, it's shown that a majority of the opponents of marriage equality believe that they are, in fact, the majority overall.
Yeah.
And the cool part about this survey is it shows that not only how wrong they are, but it does so while asking them to express their blatant guesses about it. So you kind of get a double survey in it. It's nifty. The numbers kind of make it sound simpler than it is. The breakdown is like this. 41% of Americans oppose same-sex marriage. Also, nearly two-thirds of that 41% think that a majority of Americans are in agreement with them. Only 20% of them realize that their opinion is not the majority, not that of most Americans. So the stupid will remain stupid? Is that what we can gather from this?
Pretty much always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can fool yourself about something like homosexuality is evil and the porn demons will come get you, you can very easily trick yourself into something silly about statistics.
Everybody believes me.
Right. I'm right, and all my friends say I'm right. I mean, it really is confirmation bias in a
It's
big
exactly
way.
what it is.
Yeah. It's like, I believe it, everyone I go to church with believes it, therefore everyone
true.
believes it. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's just liberals on television who thinks, homos should be okay.
And the stupid remain stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go to schools that teach them
Eradicate
stupid things.
stupidity.
Yeah.
And
Hooray.
yeah, it's awful.
It's just a big stupid breeding ground.
Speaking of stupid, we're we're back with Kevin Swanson, who is a pastor. Of course he is, because of course he is. And he is insisting that people not take their children to see Frozen because it will indoctrinate them into being gay and treating homosexuality and bestiality in a light sort of way.
Okay, now let
There's
me
a
put
lot
the
of
brakes
crap
on
in
this.
there.
Let me put the brakes on this for just a second. For people like me who don't pay any friggin' attention to pop culture at all, I've heard of Frozen. What the hell is it?
Frozen is an animated film by the Disney company.
And in the interest of full disclosure, Amanda is wearing a Frozen T-shirt right now.
She's also flashing her boobs at the camera.
There you go. There you go. You have to get the full effect of the shirt.
It's actually pretty cool. I didn't see that. I did not notice earlier that it's kind of a Game of Thrones shirt.
Yes.
She's sitting
Yes.
on what the Iron Throne, and it says
Only
winter
it's
is
ice.
coming upon. Right. it's very
Exactly.
awesome.
Because
That's awesome.
if you
Who's
do
Winter?
not know, good lord. If you don't know, Frozen is about the Queen of Arendelle, Elsa, who, unbeknownst to her sister and many other people, has magical, like, ice powers. She can make snow and basically cold fronts forever. She's the queen of, climate change.
I hate her.
All right,
It's
then.
Elsa.
She the polar vortex woman. Is this who I need to complain
Yes,
to?
yes, it's all Elsa.
So how's it satanic?
Yeah, I'm still kind of lost. I have seen the movie and I was just kind of like, what?
Did it make you gay?
No. Sadly.
Think about it for a second.
Yeah, she,
I
that
mean-
was a moment of contemplation, pure, genuine
just like,
contemplation.
No, strangely. Yeah, like the only thing in the movie, there is a scene where several of the characters go into this like mountaineer hut.
Okay, tell me
and
slowly.
it's- there's a
Then what
there's a
happens?
sauna where there are some really big giant Norsemen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the sauna.
Really up Kristen Valley. Yeah.
What are they wearing?
The shopkeeper, what the hell is his name? I don't remember, but he's really cute. He's like this crazy, like, giant Norse guy,
Okay.
and he's all like bundled up for the winter. And he's like, "Hoo hoo, welcome to my store," and that's what he says. He's like, "Hoo hoo."
So he says penis. Welcome to my store.
He's like, "Hoo hoo, welcome to my store," and then like he's like, "Hey, say hello to the family in the sauna," and then it pans over, and there's another man and like a bunch of children, like kind of.
So it's like a priest.
Or I think the inference is that it is his life partner in the sauna with their children. I did not get this the time I saw the movie. I was just like, okay, there's some people in the sauna because they came because it was really cold outside. But apparently, people with
Jesus problems.
Yes.
Are really looking.
yeah, it reminds me of back when like the Teletubbies were gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like suddenly they become masters of the like metaphor.
Or SpongeBob. Same
Yeah,
deal.
yeah. It's like
SpongeBob was gay?
Yes.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
There was a time, Jake.
One of my favorite quotes though is this Kevin Swanson guy. He says, "I'm guessing the majority of American parents don't want their little boys turning into sodomites at this point." My guess is that 60 to 70% of them would say that would be my worst nightmare.
60-70%.
Yes.
That's how few parents. Like
Yes.
there's like 30% of the parents out there want their
Yeah.
children engaging in sexual activity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we're talking, I mean, we're talking about Disney film age people. So how old are you, Amanda? No, I'm just kidding.
I do love Disney. I'm not gonna play, but yeah, it's a lot of people are praising Frozen because it was kind of the first feminist movie from Disney. The first feminist Disney princess movie is what a lot of people are calling it because it doesn't play out like Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella. It's not that the princess has to win her prince and then lives happily ever after. It's a story about sisters because Elsa has these powers, and she freaks out on her coronation day and nearly kills her sister. But then their love for each other, like, saves the day. And then, okay, so the younger sister ends up with a guy, but that's kind of incidental.
Okay. I was going to say, because I purposefully, now I feel bad for not taking my daughter to see this, because I just heard a song from it that really distressed me from a feminist perspective. And it was like about, I have to get married or something like that.
And
that bothered me intensely. My daughter was listening to it, and so I had a long talk with her about that and how tropes in movies and things like that. And then I was like, we're not going to see this film.
What's great about the movie is that Disney kind of calls itself out. Like, Anna is like, yay, I met this prince and we're gonna get married because we just met tonight. And pretty much everybody that she tells this to goes, wait, you want to marry a guy that you just met? Are you crazy?
That's kind of awesome. Props to Disney.
It really is. So yeah, there is a big song about how, like, yay, I can get married to this guy. But then everybody kind of goes, you are crazy. Please calm down.
Excellent. So I'm so much happier about this because, like, literally, my daughter wanted to go see it, and I said no because of that.
Come and talk to me before you make these hasty decisions.
Your daughter's going to be very happy when you go, hey, you want to go see Frozen?
Exactly. And then you can have Let It Go in your head for, 6 months.
I did want to bring the chat room into this really quickly. Joshua B had a really good point. He said, magic equals satanic, duh. So it's like Harry Potter. That makes a lot of sense.
True.
Because they hate the magic stuff. And Big Brother 1 says there's a pretty romantic scene between a reindeer and a talking snowman. Is that true? Or is he thinking of a different movie?
Apparently I missed all of the innuendo. I don't know. But I mean, they do become like pals. And there is some like fighting over his carrot nose. The snowman's carrot nose. Because the reindeer, of course, wants to eat it. But
the reindeer wants to eat his carrot nose. Okay.
Yes.
I think Big Brother has it right.
All right.
I did want to. This is a really good segue, actually, because I wanted to talk a little bit about how this weirdo, this Christian weirdo, equates homosexuality and bestiality, and they all do this. All the Christian bigots do that. They talk about homosexuality and bestiality in the same breath every single time. It makes me wonder why they think bestiality is wrong. I think they have that. I think they have it wrong. Why would you call bestiality wrong, PD, or would you?
Bestiality? Well, the animal doesn't have a choice, so it's kind of really, really weird.
Well,
it's
yeah.
just like, no,
It's extremely
you're just
weird,
kind of forcing
yes.
yourself on a living thing.
Right.
That
And I
sounds
think-
really wrong.
Yeah.
That, to me, would be the reason bestiality is wrong.
Yes.
I'm betting if you asked this guy, he would give you some God answer, like your body is a temple and you don't want to stick your temple in other temples.
No, well, I mean, when you think about it there are several documented cases of animals having sex with humans.
Yeah.
The
donkey shows.
Well, there's that. I was thinking more like dolphins, but okay. I mean, that's bestiality, and dolphins. I've got a couple of friends who used to work with dolphins, and apparently they're very broy. And the teenage dolphins, which are 4 or 5 years old in dolphin age or whatever.
I have this mental image now of dolphins with flip-up colors. I'm just I can't.
A case of Natty Light in one hand.
Yeah. He's like, yo.
Spring break dolphin. Yo, dude, what's up? I want to rape you. Yeah, but apparently dolphins have raped people. I don't know. Is that? I mean,
Well, see, you even just used the word rape in your story.
Right.
So
yeah, but you can't.
It's still.
It's a consent
consensual.
problem, but it's the other way.
But
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, and dogs, hump
What?
your leg.
Okay, so what if you found a rapey dolphin and you were okay with it? It's not rape anymore if he wants to and you want him to.
I'm just saying. That
Wow.
the
Just playing devil's advocate
I
here.
really can't believe that we're actually having this conversation.
In
However,
addition to Pope porn, I think this is a porn that needs to happen.
Okay, Mr. Penguin.
there's a lot of room for misunderstanding when you're talking about animals. You cannot ask them, this is totally cool, right? You're just, I mean, it ends up with a lot of, in the morning the dolphin says it was rape. And you say the dolphin never said no. It's like, well, duh, the dolphin can't say no, I mean, the dog was humping my leg. I thought it wanted it.
Oh my. This has gone so bad. So very bad.
I'm not even sure I can continue this conversation.
Please, don't.
I think that's a good place to just stop talking.
I agree. So thank you for listening to Atheist Airwaves on Secular FM Radio. We're sponsored by Corpus Christi Atheists and the South Texas Coalition of Reason. If you have any questions, concerns, definitely concerns, requests, and complaints.
Lots of complaints.
Write to us at god@atheistairwaves.com. Connect with us and our affiliates by visiting. I've got used. I can't help it.
We are all using, just so you know.
By visiting ccatheist.com, southtexascor.com, or secular.fm. Again, for our outro music, we thank YGO. Don't rape a dolphin.
That's the humanist message of the week. Thank you, people. See you next time. All right, chat room, we have an after show, so don't go anywhere unless you really have to. As soon as Amanda gets back, we're going to call our guest, and we'll see.
Can I steal a beer from you, Christian?
You absolutely can. You should always ask.
Say again? She can't find the bathroom?
It's so hard. I swear it's true.
What?
Because it's so dark down
She found
there.
it. I don't know
I
where
can
the other
never.
one's at. I just seen that door open.
I can never
My
find
bad.
the bathroom down here. I really can't.
Really?
There's
Well,
only
the first
few
three
that-
fucking doors.
I went to the master bedroom one the first time
Okay.
because it was so dark in there. I was like, I'm going to kill myself.
Okay, yeah, the light switch is really hard to find in the hallway. It is recessed into the wall. It's almost rapey.
Let's just call a moratorium on the rape stuff for the rest of the night.
So how much of our chat room have we retained? Thank you for the beer.
Half 7 out of 13.
Thank you for the beer, Christian.
Sure.
So where's this guy from? Here?
No, I think.
Is he listening?
I told him to listen, but so I don't know if he was or not. Was he from Oklahoma?
Oh my
really?
god.
Really?
Or
You're gonna try to
Kansas?
bring him in? Kansas is just as bad.
We were short on the show.
Yeah. I knew we were going to be like halfway through. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
You found the female's bathroom?
Yes.
Cool.
Just walked in and there was a dark bedroom and then I
Oh,
wandered into a
Illinois.
closet and I was like, ah! I can't find a light switch and I'm just like, ah!
Sorry.
I lied. It's Illinois.
Illinois?
Yeah.
You know,
Alright.
someone once told me some of the craziest people come from Illinois and the Philippines.
Alright.
How is that even a thing? Those are two
I dated
really
one
weird
woman
places.
from Illinois and she was absolutely fucking batshit insane, so
Alright.
we're gonna call that proof.
All right, well, let me try and call him and see if this works.
Dylan?
Oh, okay. Yes, his name's Dylan. To turn my air
Are you guys on board for Grillin' Dylan?
grilling. Come on, phone. I put it on airplane mode for the show, and now it's having a hard time picking up. There we go.
What are we talking to Dylan about?
Okay, my mother sent me a cryptic text, so I'm going to take off.
Okay.
Fun? Don't
yeah.
die.
Yeah. I'm like, oh good, cryptic texts from mom are always good.
Yay. We'll be good. Have fun.
I have been, avoiding.
Everything's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Dylan, how you doing, sir?
Strange person.
Hey, how you doing?
I gotta do
Good.
it.
Hang on just a second,
got a little bit of
because
ambient noise.
Amanda has to run out of the house because
You leaving? I
her
will see you
mom
later.
is giving her strange messages.
Yeah.
Everyone's running out the room.
Bye. Bye.
You.
Hey, Chris, I got a question for you.
Yeah. What's up?
You going to Jacob?
Possibly. If I fix my musket problem, I'm going.
Yeah.
I
Those muskets are hard to find.
well, I can find it. It's just scraping the money together for it. That's the problem. All right.
That's a really awkward conversation.
you don't like hear two men.
Talking about their muskets?
Right.
No, not usually. Not used to that.
Okay, so I think the chat room is still with us. I think we're still recording in there. Yes.
It appears that way.
Yep.
Okay. So
All right. So with us this evening is Dylan. Dylan is a guy I know through Civil War reenactment, and yes, I do Civil War reenactment.
I was aware
I'm a
of that.
big Civil War nerd, and we're both kind of into the same unit, which is the 14th Brooklyn. If you don't know about them, and you don't, and you
Care? No, I'm just kidding.
you
Go
should
ahead.
totally go look them up.
Go Red Leg Devil.
Yes, Red-Legged Devils, they're awesome. They are the unit in the Civil War. At any rate, Dylan contacted me a while ago and said that he had recently become an atheist, and I thought we would talk to him a little bit about that.
So do you have questions?
Well,
Do you have
not
questions?
so much that. It's just really, really mad at God. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Okay,
So you still believe in God.
Yeah,
you
let-
just hate his guts.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you
I'm
this.
kind of irritated.
Okay, let me stop you here. I have a question for you. You say you're mad at God and you're an atheist. Is that correct?
I'm not
Not an
atheist.
atheist, apparently.
Okay, no. What did he say? I didn't hear him.
So he said that he is not an atheist. He believes in God. He just hates him a lot.
Okay, so what do you consider yourself?
Not that. It's just I'm really
You're angry.
angry at the moment with
Okay.
him.
Okay, so I'm not going to go into the why just yet, but you say you're angry with God. But am I misunderstanding in saying that you wandered into atheism because you're pissed at God?
No, he's not an atheist. I think you at one point told me that, but
Okay.
and I think my response to you was, I don't think you are an atheist. So I'm glad to hear that you do not consider yourself an atheist,
Okay, good,
because
'cause-
I would not consider someone who's angry at God an atheist in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's a definition thing. Okay, so what do you want to talk about, Dylan?
So why? I mean, I guess why are you mad with God?
Well, it's one of those things of, I was always told it's His will, and if you don't like it, that's just too bad.
Right. And this is
And like it's my way or the highway.
right. Well, let me ask you this: why do you believe in God?
Well, I grew up with it.
Right. That's
So just because you grew up with it, you accept it as truth?
Yeah, it's more complicated than that.
yeah.
Okay.
I guess I wonder if you grew up with believing in God and people told you that. Well, I mean, I guess I'm a little confused, because if they told you if it's God's will, it's God's will, and you believe that, and if God can tell you no, then why would you get? Are you just angry that he does, or I don't understand?
Yeah, I'm failing to understand your existential crisis right now.
Well, for one thing, I really wasn't that much of a religious person. Well, there was until I met this one girl, and she was completely devoutly religious. I mean, her family escaped the Soviet Union.
Okay. And so how did having a girlfriend who was devoutly religious change the way you think about religion?
Well, she was really, really helpful. I mean, her whole family helped me.
Okay.
It-
So then what?
and then she tore my heart out.
Well, I mean, women do that. Yeah, I don't think the religion factor has much bearing on the woman factor.
Right.
So you're pissed at God. Tell me why you're pissed at God.
Well, like I said, he always says that it's His will, it's His will.
What's His
and
will?
if
What's
you
His
don't
will?
like
Are
it,
you
then
pissed?
that's just-
Are you pissed with your situation in life right now, and you're pissed because He willed it to be like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I don't know your situation in life, and I'm not going to ask you to just tell me if you don't want to tell me and our chat room or whatever. But in my opinion, your position in life is not predestined. It's not something that's willed by God. It's something that you have a certain degree of control over. You can control a certain number of people in your life. You have a sphere of influence, and the decisions you make and the positions that you're in and the ways that you react to those positions you're put in create your path in life. So if you're pissed about where you're at, take action and change it.
I'm going to disagree a little bit with you, Jay,
Okay.
because I don't think he has a choice. Because
Okay.
I believe that free will is an illusion and that our destiny is controlled by biology and physics.
That's true to a certain extent.
But you have the illusion of control. And what you can do is take what Jay just said and hopefully your biology can integrate that into what you were going to do anyway, because Jay was going to tell you that anyway, because Jay had no choice but to tell you that, and choose a new direction, just to make what Jay said a lot more complicated.
Well, I don't even understand what Christian just said that I said.
So, I mean, I guess, I mean, obviously we're atheists, so we do not accept that there is any invisible person in the sky willing anything for you. And you need to take responsibility for what you do, and make your life what you want it to be, rather than hoping that someone else is going to do it for you. Because unless physics and biology make someone else do it for you, you're going to have to do it.
No, I agree that you do have, well, I'm disagreeing with you in saying that you do have a lot of control over your life. Yes, physics and biology do obviously play a major factor in having limitations for that. But I'm in a major transition period right now too, and I make decisions to control where I want to go. That doesn't mean that I'm going to land where I hope to land.
Right.
But you can't just sit and wait for things to happen because it's God's will or because you're lazy or whatever.
You hope that someone is going to do magic if you think at them hard enough or long enough, or you do enough good things, or you don't touch yourself for a certain amount of time. God is going to be, oh, cool, he didn't touch himself, so I'm going to make something good happen.
Right.
I have a question from our chat room. Tech Leslie wants to know if you've read the Bible.
I do read my Bible. Not recently, though.
How much of it have you read? I mean, have you read the whole thing or just parts?
Bits and pieces.
Yeah.
It's very common.
Yeah, it is common. I mean, I've actually read the whole thing, and I
have too. Last time I read it cover to cover was a couple of years ago.
Okay. I don't know. When I first read it, I was a Catholic, and I was reading it because I thought it was probably the most important thing you could do. Is if you wanted to secure your eternity, you would want to do whatever God wanted you to do, and that would be the most important thing you could do in your life. I was an atheist by the time I got out of Genesis, I think, maybe Exodus. Because I find it hard to believe that you can read the Bible cover to cover and still think it's true. What do you think of the Bible? Do you think it's 100% true? Do you think it's how do you feel about it?
I guess the best way to put it is kind of like Reader's Digest. The Reader's Digest, a bunch of short stories put together.
Yeah, but some of those stories are really awful, right? I mean, so you have like the
do you believe they're true? Is the question I think he's asking.
Well, a lot of it is, one thing that I've seen about it is a lot of it is more, if you're looking at like the Roman era, a lot of it is propaganda.
Sure.
From the Jews rebelling against the Romans.
But I mean, there's a lot of really, really awful stuff. I mean, God is not the good guy of the Bible. And if you read the Bible, God is quite distinctly a bad character. I mean, he's basically Darth Vader in that story. He comes in and kills children. He orders people to slaughter civilians, to cut babies out of pregnant women's bellies, to...
but those were all in a time of war. I mean, the best way to win a war is...
No, he ordered them to to start a war and do those things. He ordered them to attack people. But I would also dispute with you the fact that that's what you do in a war. I mean, we have laws because we're a more moral. The United States is a more moral country than God is as an entity. We don't go into Afghan villages and cut babies out of bellies. We don't. If someone goes into an Afghan village and kills a bunch of civilians,
look at the
we
stuff that
punish
happened
them.
in Vietnam.
Yeah, and we punish those people. That's not acceptable. It's a scandal. So you look at the Bible, and you just said that that's what you do in war. I mean, you don't do that. I mean,
some people do that
Well,
in
back
war.
then,
That's
war
not
was
acceptable.
different. There was no such thing as civilians.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah, I mean, there are non-combat. I mean,
And is that part of a war effort?
a child
They're part of a war effort.
A child, though. I mean, they killed children. I mean, are children part of any war effort? I mean, in the Bible, because I'm unaware of it if they are. They killed infants who certainly are not part of a war effort, and they did it because they wanted to clear everything out and just take everything for themselves. Foremost being women. They would take any woman who was still a virgin because sex is a big no-no for the God of the Bible. But I don't know. I don't know how you look at a being who does that. I mean, do you think that's okay? So like My Lai massacre in Vietnam, do you think those people, the soldiers who killed all of those civilians, do you think they were good people? Was that a good thing to do?
Yeah, I think they were doing the wrong thing.
Right, but then you look at God doing the same thing and you say that that's good. I mean, it seems it seems like you're holding people to a higher standard than you hold God to. And if we're going to say that there is a all-knowing, all-loving God who is the perfect incarnation of
I don't believe that for a minute.
okay, well, you can't. I mean, you just said that you hold soldiers to a much higher standard than you do God.
Well, let's just say when it comes to that, there are a few things I agree with and a few things I disagree with.
Okay, so what's one thing you disagree with?
Well, for one thing, killing, all that stuff. I mean,
all that stuff is not one thing.
Well, I mean,
narrow it down.
Well, for one thing, the killing of the civilians was wrong, but it was wrong. But like I said, it was a war.
Okay, so
how were wars back then?
Let's talk about Elijah then, because Elijah was going along a path at some point, and a bunch of children came out from a village, not during a time of war, just came out and came across him, and apparently he was a bald guy, because they started making fun of him and calling him Baldy. And God's reaction to the children who did that was to call bears out of the woods and have all, I think it was 40 children, 35, 40 children, have them all ripped to shreds by a bear. So what is your justification for God doing that?
I think that's a little overkill.
A little awesome. Overkill. Yeah, okay, I can agree with that statement.
That's the most amazing thing I've ever heard someone say about that story. I love it. Oh, that's great.
So if okay, first off, do you take that as something that you believe happened?
I think it probably did.
Okay, so you believe that...
Have you ever been wandering around the woods and a bear come out and attack you?
No, I haven't. However, even if I did, I'm not sure I would blame it on God. So you're telling me that you think that God willed bears to come out of the forest and eat some kids because they were making fun of a bald dude?
Well, have you ever heard of the writ of karma?
Oh, God.
No, I'm not sure.
What goes around comes around?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have. I don't believe in that either, actually.
No, I don't. I used to, but and I knew what he was saying. That's why I said, "Oh God."
Oh, okay.
So what goes around comes around is God's will. Karma is.
And don't you think karma is overreacting just a little bit?
So karma is God's. I don't know, passive plan? Is that what I'm understanding?
Not sure on that.
Okay. So
I just feel like You haven't really thought out your religious philosophy very well.
And that's okay to
Yeah.
have not thought it out completely, but to take a stance when not having thought it out completely is what I find wrong. I grew up in a non-religious household, and I went and I explored religions. I explored Wicca, I explored Buddhism, I explored Christianity, I explored these things. And I found that when I started reading about them and I started reading their doctrines and I started reading the dogma, that it was, to me, all a bunch of nonsensical BS. And during that time frame, I didn't say, "Oh, I'm a Wiccan. Oh, I'm a Buddhist. Oh, I'm a this. I'm a that." I don't know. So it's okay to not know. It's completely okay to not know while you're trying to figure out what works for you, what you believe is truth. Do you call yourself a Christian?
I think I do.
Okay.
But like I said, lately,
So how are you
Then
pissed at
rethink it.
God if God is all powerful? How are you mad at him?
well, for one thing, it's one of those things that well, this all stems from a girl, I guess you can say.
All right, that's the root of the problem right there. Is if it stems from a girl and you're trying to mix romance and religion, you're gonna have problems.
The Bible is probably religion in general treats sexual and relationship stuff in the worst way possible. We have a recommendation from the chat room. Tech Leslie advises that you should read the book God Hates You, Hate Him Back. I have not read it.
I've not heard of that, but I'm okay with it. Okay, just a word of advice. Try to keep your religious turmoil, your religious stance, your religious upbringing, try to keep that out of the scientifically proven chemical reactions that happen in your brain when you are in a romantic relationship. I'm not certain how old you are. I'm going to guess you're around, I'm going to say you're in the 18 to 25 category. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm about 20. I'll be turning 24 on the 26th.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. So
Thank you.
You're in a point in time when, although you might think it is, and just like I'm around your age as well, we haven't completely developed yet. We're getting close to the end of it, but we're not completely developed chemically and all that crap. There's still crazy shit going on in your brain and your body. And when you add hormones that start playing around and endorphins and all this shit that happens when you wind up with women and you fall in love and all that stuff, you make decisions that you wouldn't have otherwise made. Don't mix religion into that, because that's just adding more problems to try and navigate.
It's already confusing enough without adding an extra level of confusion.
One thing that really got under my skin is that I was really, I was always told if you want something, pray for it, and if you pray for it hard enough, you'll get it, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a messed up thing to tell someone.
Do you really believe that that's true?
Well, right as of right now, if it was true, I wouldn't be pissed at God.
Okay, so then through your own study, you have disproven that.
Yes, and I think that's one of the more pernicious and disgusting things that people teach other people, because basically what that is teaching you is that everything bad that happens to you is your fault for not doing something. Now, there are things that are going to happen to you that are your fault. So, I mean, if you
get the clap because you didn't use a condom,
right, that's your fault. Jay speaks from his experience.
Shut up.
But there are other things that are completely out of your control. And relationships are kind of one of those things that are a mix of the two, because there are things you can do to mess that up, and that will be your fault. At the same time, there are things that are out of your control. For example, some women are just not going to be into you. So there's really nothing you can do about that, because some people are going to really like you and some people are really going to be just because people like different things. So, but if you think that everything...
One thing, when I was talking to her one time, she always said, if it's God's will, then it's God's will. What about my will? When is God going to come to me and say, gee, what would you like?
Was that a cop-out?
Does this sound like a good plan?
I've used excuses and cop-outs with women that I didn't want to sit down and have a hard discussion with and say, hey, this is what it is, and I'm sorry, I'm just not into you. It's, I can't help that. I've wanted to avoid that discussion before and used stupid, lame excuses. Do you think that was a stupid, lame excuse for her not being the person she should have been and sitting down and saying, look, it might be painful, but in the end of the day, I'm just not into it?
Well, one thing she said that if it was God, the whole God's will thing, but, this was a girl that I really, really wanted to be with.
So use religion. I'm gonna tell you how to be a totally awful human being.
Oh, this should be good.
What you need to tell her is that you've had a vision and God told you. No, don't do that.
No, I like this. I like this tactic, because what it does is it forces her to choose between honesty and religious cop-out.
Well, but she's just going to say that she had a vision, and I hope that's what she'd say. Otherwise, I don't know how. I mean, I couldn't like a person that way who would fall for that.
Well, this gentleman obviously can.
I love how you were doing really well. Like we were calling you Dr. Drew in the chat room, Jay, and I had to go and turn this into the most awful thing ever.
I like this tactic though. This is an epic tactic.
How am I still the bad cop? God, can I be the good cop one time?
It's free will. No, I'm sorry. In all seriousness,
there is Tech Leslie wants to know if she can call you next, Jay, because apparently you're giving good advice.
I'm down with it.
And then Rebel 1852 has a question for you, since you're the new Dr. Drew. He says, Jay, my peen goes soft when I look at midget porn. What chemical imbalances am I suffering from?
Penguinitis.
And that's the final word on that.
I don't. So I'm Dr. Drew now, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
Apparently. So.
It was an affliction in high school. I used to help everyone, and I was a fixer. Now
I'm glad you're a breaker.
Done
now.
fixing.
Yes. You fall into it. You fall back into it.
So Dylan, I think you've got a lot of turmoil that you still have to figure out. And I'm hoping that eventually, in your own time, in your own way, you're going to come to the realization that God really isn't playing any sort of cards for you. You're playing your hand that you were dealt. She's playing the hand that she was dealt. And religion, while in this instance does play a factor because she is obviously a devout believer and you are a Christian, it's not something that's going to control the feelings or emotions that you guys have for one another.
And I think you'll find, if you really start paying attention, and if you look at scientific studies, you'll find that praying or not, things happen at the same rate. So the power of prayer, just from a scientific perspective, has been debunked. There are multiple studies showing that, and in fact, there's one study in particular that shows that.
Oh, I think in some cases prayer does work.
No, prayer does not work.
It does not work.
What can work is positive thought. Not positive thought in that, oh, this light's going to turn green, it's going to turn green. Oh my God, it turned green. No, it's not The Secret. It's not that kind of crap. But positive thought. Self-affirmations, there's something that sounds silly, but in the beginning of the day or whenever you choose to do it, if you talk yourself up and you can get your mental space in a better place, yes, that can help you. But it's not something that's prayer. There's no divine entity that's going to magically hear your call and make things better.
Right. And if you look at scientific studies, and the one I was going to reference was they did a study where they took heart patients in a hospital, and one group,
good study.
One group, they had people praying for them. Another group, no one was praying for them. And a third group, they told them, people are praying for you.
It was awesome because the people who knew they were being prayed for did worse.
Right. They actually got sicker and died at a higher rate. And so there is really good evidence that prayer will kill you, but there is no good evidence that shows that prayer works. And while there are a few studies that will show,
there are a few cases where it works.
Like what? Name one.
Well, for one thing, this goes back to my Civil War reenacting. That's kind of how I found the 14th Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was able to stumble across them.
But you stumbled across them.
Yeah.
Okay, you did
But-
not give me any example as to how prayer
Right.
worked there.
That's not a prayer thing. That's a stumble thing.
Well, it led me to them.
But
How
you
did
don't-
prayer lead
All right,
you
wait,
to
wait,
them?
wait, wait. Let me just go this way. I stumbled across the 14th Brooklyn, and I didn't pray about it. So how do you know that it's the prayer that is the causative agent here?
I'm not sure.
Well, then you don't know. But I mean, you said you know that prayer works sometimes. So how? Give me an example of where you know there's no other way it could have happened. Because it sounds like you don't know. It sounds like you want to believe it, but that you don't know
It
it.
sounds like you've been indoctrinated to
Yeah.
believe it.
Oh, I guess there are some places, like one of my friends was trying to get a job, and he was praying for it over and over again, and he ended up getting it.
Okay, so
But you
had
do
he
think that
not
there's-
prayed
Even though there was people who were well more qualified than him, he still got it.
you know, as someone who's had previous positions in a hiring firing situation, the prayer that they just because someone is more qualified does not make them a
Right.
better candidate for a job.
That's
that is
true.
absolutely no reason that prayer. You cannot provide any ounce shred of proof of any instance where prayer has helped someone do something.
Because here's the other thing, and that's people always get another job. You're not, I mean, you know, I'm sure your friend is a young guy. He's not just going to be unemployed for the rest of his life unless he prays about it. He's going to get another job. And like Jay said, I mean, I have washed out supremely qualified candidates in the first round, didn't even get to the second round of interviews simply for other reasons, not because they were not qualified. And I've hired people who are less qualified. You know, one of the best employees I ever hired, I hired her because she had potential, and I thought that when she reached that potential, she would be much better than people who were much better qualified. So I don't find anything you just said convincing.
Well, I have an idea for you.
Okay, shoot.
I was going to say I can get all my Christian friends. We can have a debate
Okay,
over that subject.
Okay,
That'd be great.
Equal number of people. How many people you got?
I think I can probably get a few of them.
okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Private message me on Facebook, and get two to four people.
I mean,
and we'd love to have a group conversation. That sounds like it would be fun.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, like I said, I belong to over at my college. There's a Campus Crusaders that I belong to. I think I can get them involved.
Okay. Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, ask them. And, we'd love to have a good conversation. While we're wrapping up here, the chat room has a few more questions for you, Jay.
Okay.
The first question is from AD Cantu. He says, Jay, how can I convince the Pope to use a condom?
Well, Jesus is a condom. So he already is.
He offers protection.
Exactly, yes. I mean, it was like Pat Robertson, was saying, if you let the demons in...
The porn demons?
Yeah, the porn demons. If you let them in, bad things happen. But if you accept Jesus, the bad things don't happen. Therefore, Jesus is your condom. Well, it's the Pope's condom, anyway. Just don't forget to pull
Okay,
out.
that's kind of a weird analogy.
Yes, we excel at those.
And an analology?
It should instead of in God we trust, it should be in Trojan man we trust.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Let's see.
Trojans suck.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Let's see. Where was the other one?
Can you imagine that church though?
I would go.
Hands out rubbers to everybody.
All right. Rebel 1852 says, Jay, I prayed for anal sex with my girlfriend. She instead penetrated me. Did prayer work for me in this instance?
Yeah, well, you liked it, so, I mean, it worked, right?
Sometimes God gives you what you want, what you
Even though
need,
you
and not
didn't
what
know.
you want.
Yeah, you didn't know you wanted it. You didn't know you needed it.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem I'm having.
Don't tell your Campus Crusade people
That was a
about
joke,
this.
Dylan. Dylan, it was a joke. It's a joke.
Honestly, the people in that Campus Crusade thing, they're actually very nice people.
Oh, sure.
I'm sure they are. I'm a very nice person, too, and I've had plenty of people who knew I was a very nice person stop talking to me after they found out I was an atheist, because I must be the friggin' devil.
Right.
Dylan, it was good talking to you.
Oh, I hate that.
All right. Well, you private message me, and we'll get a good conversation going.
Here's one thing that I found out.
Okay.
You know how all those religious people want to convert an atheist? I found out what it is. They want a head count. It's one of those, if I can convert an atheist, I'm holier than you kind of thing.
Good luck with that.
I know what the problem is,
And I
Dylan,
hate
with your
that.
religious
I
life.
hate that.
with your romantic life, I have a feeling part of your problem is that you don't listen, you just talk.
Chicks hate that.
Hey, I got something for you. Maybe,
All right.
This case in point.
maybe sometime we can call her and put her on the show.
That sounds like a bad idea.
I'll tell you what, like I told you online, if you convince her to knowingly talk to
she
an
does.
atheist, I didn't think she would. So
Yeah.
we're not going to crank call people.
Right.
That's not
Dylan,
nice.
we got things we gotta take care of this evening. I
there's a
appreciate your
thing
time,
about
brother. I appreciate your time, brother. You have a good night.
We'll talk to you with the Campus Crusade people next time. Thank you so much for calling, Dylan. I'll see you online. Bye bye.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.